Welcome to How Do You Divine? An open conversation on how our perspectives differ based on our culture, experiences, and exposure to the world.
I'm Sanika Nikki, and welcome back to How Do You Divine? In this episode, we end season 2, closing out my conversation with you, our community, Unfiltered Q&A Part 3. First question, how did you get into technology? I went to college for marketing communications to learn how to communicate to the masses. Through that experience, I've learned so much about technology. So right after college, I entered corporate marketing. So I did a lot of corporate events, continuing education events, putting together those conferences and corporate events that I actually talk about a lot now that I attend as a strategist. Then I entered into advertising agency world. And that's a little tip that I have for anyone in marketing communications or even interested in advertising. If you can land a role at an agency, it's a perfect place for you because they manage so many different streams of communication and methods to market and advertise that you can learn from various people in the organization in different departments to see which one you gravitate towards. I got in technology through marketing communications because I loved the data of it all. At that time, we called it big data when I feel like the world of marketing and advertising just knew we had all this information about our consumers and didn't necessarily know how to activate it and action it. Through my journey in marketing communications and noticing that I really enjoyed the data, how it was structured, how it was leveraged, how brands use this data to communicate to their consumers and use this data to understand their brand impact. I found myself gravitating more and more to the technology side of the agency. During the duration of my career, I was in an agency that had direct mail, which I call traditional advertising, which was print. And they also did printing for large format billboards, snail mail, all of those things. And again, kept finding myself in the technology department, asking a lot of questions, wondering what software they were using to create the different illustrations for large format printing. Started asking a lot of questions around how are we leveraging these data to communicate with clients in terms of what we sell them and how are they using this data to speak to their consumers on all channels in a more concise way. That curiosity that I had for data and software that was used to manage the data really kept me closer and closer to the industry. Data is information. I found my way into technology because I really enjoyed the depth of data as well as how data, which is really numbers, can be used to tell a very compelling story based on what you want to say. So that is the long way into how I got into technology. Through that journey, I started working for software companies that were based around communications, and that's where I landed today. I work for a marketing communications software as a sales strategist. What inspired you to start your YouTube channel, and what message do you hope to share with your audience? Really hearing the feedback over and over again from not only friends, but colleagues and brands that I wanted to partner with that, Sanika, you are the brand. The brand is you. We talked about this in other podcasts, but just to sum it up, I only wanted to talk about the podcast and the goal and mission and vision for the podcast. And everyone just kept saying, Sanika, you are the brand. The brand is you. Can you share more of you online in any forum? So how I decided to start a YouTube channel was turning on the camera and just speaking to the camera. But really, I started saying that if I had anything to share, what will I share, right? So as you can see on my YouTube channel, that's Sanika, Nikki, Nikki, YouTube, and on Instagram, I really started by focusing on my life, right? I didn't want to create a channel based on a niche or based on what was going on in the environment. I wanted my channel to reflect the life that I've always lived because then I knew it would be sustainable. So I started my channel focusing on travel, fitness, and food because I travel a lot for my career as well as for leisure. Fitness, because as a thick girl, I like to work out. I like to stay nimble. I like to always stay ready for anything, but I like to move my body. I like to walk. I like to hit the gym. I like to lift weights. Those are my two things. Fitness, I think, is very important because there is a strong correlation with fitness and wellness that we often don't see in the forefront of the conversation. We always talk about we want to get in those jeans, we want to be ready for the crop top, we want Michelle Obama arms, but we don't necessarily realize that lifting weights really boosts your endorphins. It really strengthens your muscles. Every single day we get older, and the older we get, we need to use these muscles or they will no longer be there when we need them. And God forbid, one day you fall, you won't need that muscle. I started with travel, fitness, and food because these are drivers in the personal sides of my life outside of, obviously being a mom. And food because honestly, as much as I like to cook and I'll bake, I'm not a big foodie. And I wanted to get better at eating food and seeing food as more of an enjoyable experience. I've always seen food as gas. I just need gas to keep moving, right? I have little things that I enjoy. My slogan in life is I save my calories for the 3 C's: cakes, cookies, and cocktails. That is it. And those 3 things are the 3 things I enjoy. Everything else is just gas to keep this engine moving. So when I initially started my YouTube channel, it focused on travel, fitness, and food because I felt like the community could use to get to know me. As the channel has evolved, I have just travel, fitness, and food is still a predominant theme throughout my vlogs, but really it's about following my life as a founder and an entrepreneur and as a host. And I really want to use my channel as a beacon to inspire people to keep moving, keep putting one foot in front of the other in pursuit of what makes you happy and your goals. There is this huge conversation about entrepreneurship alongside with being an employee of a corporation. I don't think entrepreneurship is for everyone, but I do believe everyone deserves to be well. And in order to be well, you need to identify what makes you happy. So I hope that my channel shows one, that the makeup, the look, the podcast, all of this comes with work. The ambition to have a business, a show, a podcast, whatever. Having the ambition for happiness is what I hope my YouTube channel inspires. And that's really what it's about. It's showing the highs and lows of my life as I pursue my goals and my aspirations. And always, always, like I end all of my vlogs saying, make time to be well. It's important to make space to be well throughout all of our endeavors because I feel like wellness is very closely tied to your happiness. Unless you are well and you feel content in yourselves, it would be so hard to identify happiness means what to you. Right? So that's why I started a YouTube channel, for those 3 reasons. One, because I kept hearing, Sanika, you are the brand. And because historically, I'm traditionally a low-key person. What does that mean is I'm really chill. So prior to having an online presence, I was the person you saw once a year on social media on my birthday, or maybe something for the kids. Not that I hated it, I am very present in real life. I am the friend that when you call, I'm 100% on the phone. I'm 100% in the room. I'm 100% present. So I never really remember to pick up a camera and take a picture or bring a camera. But I really believe that everything happens for a reason. And last year, when I decided to start my YouTube channel, Sanika Nikki, on all platforms, it was God's way of crafting me and showing me that I needed to be more transparent. I need to show up in my full, whole self on all platforms. And as you guys have heard throughout the episodes this season, that has had its highs and lows, its fearful moments, its very emotional moments, right? But I've learned a lot of lessons and we're moving forward. So that is that is what inspired me to start my YouTube channel and the message I hope to. It's important to make space to be well throughout all of our endeavors, because I feel like wellness is very closely tied to your happiness. Unless you are well and you feel content in yourselves, it would be so hard to identify happiness means what to you. That's why I started a YouTube channel, for those three reasons. One, because I kept hearing, Sanika, you are the brand. And I'm traditionally a low-key person. What does that mean is I'm really chill. So prior to having an online presence, I was the person you saw once a year on social media on my birthday, or maybe something for the kids. Not that I hated it, I am very present in real life. I am the friend that when you call, I'm 100% on the phone, I'm 100% in the room, I'm 100% present. I never really remember to pick up a camera and take a picture. But I really believe that everything happens for a reason. And last year, when I decided to start my YouTube channel, Sanika Nikki, on all platforms, it was God's way of crafting me and showing me that I needed to be more transparent. I need to show up in my full, whole self on all platforms. And as you guys have heard throughout the episodes this season, that has had its highs and lows, its fearful moments, its very emotional moments, right? But I've learned a lot of lessons and we're moving forward. Also, to peel back the curtain of perception versus reality. I think the perception is that I always walk around with makeup on, and for the most part, I love treating myself well by showing up as my best self when I'm home, when I'm anywhere. But the reality is, I have children, I have a husband, I have friends, I have siblings. There is so much that's happening in real life that it's hard for anyone to be on all the time. And I don't think we are designed to be quote unquote on all the time. So the main reason I started a YouTube channel is to show you that I'm not on all the time. I am not, for the most part, I'm always super positive and jovial and joking, but there's a large part of who I am, especially in my career, that is very serious, that operates under the model of focus and energy. I am very diligent about my time and where I pursue my energy, but also very focused on anything that I get involved in. So that's why I started my YouTube channel, to show you can be many things and still one person. How do you decide on topics or themes for your videos? My YouTube channel is more lifestyle based and conference based. I always say from the kitchen to the conference, work in thereafter. The goal is to give a holistic view of who I am and follow my life. So there's not necessarily themes on my YouTube channel, Sneak and Nikki. I wouldn't say theme, but I have a topic-based video coming out at the end of this year. And I think I'm gonna do those quarterly alongside with my vlog. So every quarter on my YouTube channel, Sanika Nikki, I will address a topic and make a video about it, in addition to my vlogs following me work, momming, entrepreneuring, founding, and hosting. So how do I pick themes? I let my life pick them for me. How do you choose guests for your podcast? What qualities or experience do you look for? What quality or themes do you look for? Ooh, when it comes to my podcast, I always want to keep it simple by exploring how we've come to define that one word. How do I choose a guest for my podcast? Is someone with a unique story that was driven by growth and life experiences. I love to hear how people's perspective of certain aspects of their life has changed as they have either grown or gone through different seasons in their life. So we have some amazing guests coming season 3 to dive more into how different seasons in your life change your perspective and your definition on certain aspects of life. Ultimately, to remind us that we can pivot, things can change. The way we feel about things today in our career, what makes us happy, what career path we want to go down, that can change. I remember when I was 8, I wanted to be a singer. And while I love music, I don't want to be nobody's singer. Like, I could hold a little note, me, but I don't think I made to be an artist in that way. Like Erica Badu says, she artist and we sensitive about our stuff. And I always knew I'd have my own talk show. But going back to the question in terms of how I pick my guests, I pick my guests based on their journeys. And that journey could be a few years, it could be a few months. I just want to use my platform to amplify people in our community and also display that whatever you desire in life is attainable, right? And even if it's happiness, if it's a dream, if it's a new job, if it's a goal, it is attainable based on how you've set up each season in your life. So how I choose my guests is guests with unique stories that can drop gems and give actionable, tangible outcomes every single episode that our community here can take and learn from and implement in their own life. That's how I pick my guest, and always keeping it simple so that everyone can be a part of the conversation and evolve as we evolve. Is there a dream guest you've been hoping to feature, and why are they significant? Of course, there are dream guests. If I shared, and I joke with my husband that if I ever shared my notes app about the guests that I have on this list, they would be like, girl, you crazy. But if you're new here, when it comes to a dream, I don't play around. Everything in my mind is structured as dreams, goals, timelines, tasks. I call it my DGTT. Everything in my life is structured that way. I dream big, I make attainable goals, I set great timelines alongside with the task to get them done. So when you use the word dream in a question to me, no, I'm going big. Yes. Oh my gosh. Who is my dream guest? I have so many, but I'm going to say my top 5. Oprah Winfrey, absolutely. Angie Martinez, absolutely. Tyler Perry, absolutely. Vaughn Weaver, John Hope Bryant, love these people, love these people. Bozam, Badass Bozema, absolutely. I feel like I gave you a brief little view into my top 5. Bozema, if you are in marketing, if you are in the corporate world and you do not know who Bozema St. John is, go do your research. She is amazing. She has done phenomenal things in the space, especially overall, increasing the corporate value, increasing the market share for a very large organization. She is not just a figurehead. She is a game changer. So that is just a small list of my dream guests. And why are they significant to you? Bozema is significant to me as a Black woman that works in the corporate space. I admire the things that she's done in her career in a time that I know it was quite difficult. Vaughn Weaver as well, entering into an industry that she wasn't familiar with, didn't have any legacy training in, and has entered the spirit world and has turned it upside down. Admire her. Angie Martinez has such a wonderful interviewing style. It's obvious that there is a sense of familiarity with her guests. Either they're her friends or she's familiar with who they are, but there is this underlining sense of trust that I feel is evident in her interviews, where she won't take it too far. She won't try to do a gotcha moment with them, that I really admire. She gives her guests the opportunity to have their moments and speak in their own words, but also guide the conversation. I love her interview style. It oozes authenticity, relaxation, and comfort, but also accountability. If you were a child of the 90s or 2000s here in New York when Angie was on the original station and now she's on Power 105, again, you guys know I love radio. While she is like the around the way girl, she just is really relatable. She also held her guests to a sense of accountability. You couldn't come to the Angie Martinez show and say, I just wanted to talk about my new album that I just dropped and my new, single that's out or the party coming up without addressing rumors or anything that was swirling around the artist. And I love that about her, that while she is not bullish in her approach to get to the truth or what has transpired. She allows space. She gives them the opportunity to speak in their own words and then chimes in for clarity, for confirmation, for direction. So that's why interviewing Angie Martinez, high on the list. Tyler Perry. I admire so much what Tyler Perry has not only done for his life, but everyone in his ecosystem. And I think that's part of the Tyler Perry legacy people do not elaborate on enough, in my perspective, that Tyler not only created a business out of his creativity, he did not only create legacy, he created a system that is different than the system that has operated in the entertainment space for decades. He didn't only say, I want to exist in the entertainment space and create stories that for my people that look like my people. He also noticed I can do it better. I can do it more efficiently. I can orchestrate a world that is similar but efficient, that actually aligns better with the future. The systems that Tyler Perry has created for his organization makes him, in my book, a true genius in the way he operates as a businessman. And from a creative standpoint, his shows are crazy. I think love them, hate them, be on whichever side of the fence that you are on. Give that man not only his flowers, but the whole bouquet. He is so phenomenal. And I can't wait to meet him one day because it will happen. He will be on my couch. Oprah Winfrey, Oprah Winfrey, Oprah. As a little Black girl, seeing Oprah Winfrey on my TV screen when I came home from school was nothing short of majestic. And the fact that you didn't know what she was going to talk about that day, it could be, I'll never forget watching the show of the young lady who was on her show and she had AIDS, but had such a beautiful way of living life and seeing life. It was remarkable. Definitely a staple moment in my life. But then you could also go on the Oprah show and see an artist like Beyonce talk about she can't cook, you know? And it was just such a great show. And as the show evolved, you can see the evolution of Oprah when she stepped out on her own and created her own network. Again, there's a trend here. I don't know if you guys catched it. I like game changers. I like people that not only think outside of the box, but take big risks on themselves, because it says a lot about your faith in God when you take big risk on your vision for your life based on what you know is going to be successful. These are my dream guests that will be on my show one day. I've already claimed it. How do you prepare for interviews with your guests to ensure conversations are meaningful and engaging? Research. Again, this is a traditional podcast and television show in my eyes. So, any guests that I have invited to my show, and you'll see them coming in season 3, I do my research, not only about who they are, but what they've accomplished and what they hope to accomplish. And I structure the show in a way is where the conversations can flow. I don't like a question answer scenario. I'd like them to lead with their life experiences and share the gems and aha moments and realizations that they've had throughout their journey. So that's what I do to prepare for my guests. Research. Are there any specific topics or stories you're excited to explore with upcoming guests? Yes, there are so many different topics and themes. I can't wait till the men enter the chat. The men are entering the chat in season 3, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited just to hear from their perspective. And I have a lot of male friends, and I hear the way that they not only communicate with themselves, but with me. And I understood their hesitation to be on camera and be on a platform, but I'm so glad that I will be having the male species on the podcast in season 3. And they will be sharing their phenomenal journeys and ultimately how the world has treated them and how they see the world still progressing forward. I'm really excited for that in season 3. I'm really excited for a new stage. We are going to be in a new studio next year. I'm really excited for the evolution and as it develops, right? I feel like season 3 is going to be better than season 2. And guess what? Season 4 is going to be better than season 3. I'm really looking forward to the lessons. I'm looking for the moments where I'm like, oh, and I have a weekend or a week because I can't stay upset for a long time. But oddly enough, I'm looking forward to the lessons that I learn in my big aspirations for season 3. Because I am a shoot for the stars, and if I land on top of the clouds kind of person, I don't expect everything to be perfect all the time or for things to land exactly the way that I had them planned, but I try my very best for that to happen. But if it doesn't, I'm also very close to the star where I land. So I'm really looking forward to the lessons. I'm looking forward to the blessings. I'm looking forward to the things that are not in my control that will fall in line. I'm looking forward to that because it's already promised. So I'm really looking forward to that. Is there any stories? We have some servicemen joining the couch next year. I'm really looking forward to their stories because to serve this country is not a simple decision. And I think their story deserves to be amplified in a way that aligns with what they've learned. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. Looking forward to having more discussions with people in my industry and looking forward to growth. Do you allow your guests to suggest themes for the discussion, or do you prefer to guide the direction of the episode? I absolutely. If you'd love to be on the podcast, reach out to me via my website. How do you divine? That's DIVINE. Pitch your idea and your word and why you think you'd be a great guest. I welcome everyone here on the podcast. I've tried my very best to accommodate everyone's schedule. So if you think you'd be a great guest on the podcast, reach out on the website. All the information will be in the description box. Hey, really quickly, I'm glad that you're enjoying the episode. Have you subscribed yet? Look, down there. Is it subscribed? Yeah. Leave me a comment. Say hello. Love to hear from you. Last question. What is it like being a public figure on social media? What is it like? I would say I'm very early in this journey. So I would say that it's okay. I think the negativity has come and gone, but I think for the most part, it's okay. I think in order for you to be a public figure or a leader in any space, both corporate, social media, or an entrepreneur, requires not just thick skin, right? I think everyone says like, oh, you need to have thick skin, which essentially means that you can't be sensitive. I think it's not necessarily about thick skin. You have to have the ability to let things roll off your back. Not everything that is said needs a response. And it reminds me of this Jamaican saying that empty barrels make the loudest noise. It means that people with no substance are often the loudest and wrong in a scenario. But what is it like? To me, it's fine because I'm very clear about my purpose and why I'm on social media and why I have my podcast and why I'm developing a product and my journey as a founder. If you're thinking about being on social media or starting a podcast, do it. Do it and do it now. Just turn on the camera, turn on your mic and get it and get started. But most importantly, know your why. Know why you're doing it. If you're doing it because you want to be seen, that is not a reason to do anything because it is not a valuable attribute in any sense of the word. It really is not. To be known is I don't know. I just don't see value in that aspect. But for me, what it's like is similar to what it's like to lead a team in corporate. It is similar to what it's like to be perceived as one thing, but knowing that you're another. And I've experienced that throughout my whole life. When you look a certain way, people make the assumption that your life was either easy or you have a silver spoon or pretty privilege. It's just being on social media, it reminds me that no one can tell your story better than you. And also, if you live in your truth, nothing truly should be able to phase you. So, what is like being on social media? It's been a positive experience. It's had its highs and its lows. Most of all, I'm working on consistency and creating systems and processes that will allow me to show up more and more authentically. But that's what it's like being on social media.
The vibe of the week. What's the vibe of the week?
This week is one of my favorite songs. And when I say favorite songs, ultimate favorite songs. If I'm ever like truly in a mood and need to switch my perspective, this is the song that I go to. And before I tell you the song, I'm going to see if anybody knows based on how it starts. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. Electric word, life. Hell no, let's go. It is Prince. Let's go. I love Prince. And if you don't love Prince, I beg of you, I beg of you, I beg of you, go on your streaming, go on YouTube, do whatever you have to do. Type in Prince, let's go. It's like the beat comes to you. It's like it's chasing you. And if you're listening to this on your podcast platform and you like to see me get down and get crazy with this song, feel free to jump on YouTube and watch this episode because Prince is my song and I'm in here going crazy. If you don't like, at least you got friends. Is all I heard. Break us down. Oh no, let's. Thank you so much for joining this episode of How Do You Divine Unfiltered Part 3. Thank you so much for all your love and support in season 2. And we will see you in the new year, 2025. We coming back bigger and better for season 3 of How Do You Divine? Divine with me, Sanika Nikki. Happy New Year. Have a wonderful holiday. I hope you make great memories with your family and your friends. And we will see you right back here in February 2025. How do you divine?
Thank you for listening. Continue to add dimensions to your definitions. Please join the conversation on all social platforms. #HowDoYouDivine.